Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and there's just a little bit of a delay here today. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of you on the gram of Insta, welcome to today's edition of Marketing Happy Hour, where we're going to talk about the 7 tips that you can use to get more video confidence. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelmann, apparently on the sunny side of life with natural lighting here. And with me, as always, is...
And I'm John Paduchak, live from New York.
You need to be a little louder because...
oh, you can't hear me. Okay.
Now your sound has gone down. John is joining us remotely.
I am, very remotely.
From the woods of a property that he inherited in New York State.
That's right.
Man. So how's it going out in property land?
It's good. It's good. It's always an interesting...
Are you a farmer now?
It's always an interesting trip home.
I bet. Let me see if I can increase your volume a little bit more for the Instagram people. I can.
Good.
There we go. We're good now. Okay, we are fine. So you're our video marketing expert, which is why I called you in here. Dr. Kayvon K of Simplify.zone is not at home. So
no.
He's on a farm someplace too.
He is. He's on a farm in Georgia.
Georgia. You have Georgia on your mind?
I don't know.
I'm getting a little echo here. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but hey, that's the beauty of going live.
Indeed, it is.
All right. So we're talking today about camera confidence. And we have 7 different tips that we were reviewing. Just before we get started here, what are the major fears that people have about doing live video? Because your specialty is live video.
Right. Well, their biggest fear is, how people are going to perceive them when they're on camera, which is obviously one of the biggest things that we're talking about
today's
today.
topic. Yes.
Yeah. And, they sometimes they're not sure what they're going to talk about, or they're going to run out of great things to say. And of course, they've got the fear of the technology and everything that's involved with that and getting going. So, those are kind of the major things.
So let's see if I can bring in our little presentation thingy. I just put the 7 tips on here so that I would not forget any of them because I am famous for rambling. Can you see that?
I can.
Perfect. Okay, so we're talking today about how to gain greater camera confidence. You folks on Instagram, I'm sorry, you're going to have to take a look at Facebook or YouTube to get the slides, but we'll do our best to talk it through. So this was our look for today, the thumbnail that we put up there. She looks pretty confident, doesn't she?
She looks very confident.
She looks a little menacing too, I think.
Maybe just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit, but she knows how to work a camera, and she knows she looks good on camera. But then this ties into what we've talked about previously, which is how to add your personality to your brand. And the best way to do that, of course, is through video. Wouldn't you agree?
And you be you, as we say.
You be you, as opposed to UB40, because that's red wine. One of my favorites. Yes. So the question is, do you have a fear of talking in front of the camera?
And everybody does.
I sure do.
I do too. Funny people think that, oh, you're so good in front of the camera, or people who speak in front of a crowd might feel differently. But, at the end of the day, we're all afraid of being in front of the camera.
Yeah, I know that. When I've spoken in front of groups and stuff, I actually, the funny thing is that I'm okay speaking in front of a group of, say, from a couple hundred to maybe 1,000 people, but speaking on this one little camera is tricky.
Can be
very, very tricky. Hello, Instagram people. And I started doing live video back, I guess, for the most part, really over the pandemic time, and it was with you. And then the main reason was that my wife told me that I absolutely sucked on video. Yes, she did. And so, it's true. Absolutely true. Well, so it would take me 30 takes to do like a 2-minute video, for example. And I would do all the things that we're going to tell. I would not do the things that we're going to recommend to you. I did some of the terrible things, like I was reading off of a script, for example, that I would tape behind my laptop or my phone because I didn't have any sophisticated teleprompters or things. So if you have a fear of talking in front of the camera, this live broadcast is for you. And, there's nothing worse than feeling totally out of sorts and uncomfortable when you're recording videos for your marketing campaign. And those of you who have local businesses, if you have a practice, maybe you're a veterinarian, a chiropractor, a functional medicine doctor, or an accountant or anything, you really do need to get good at being on camera and being on video. Because isn't that right, John? We talked about how in 2022, something like 83% of the whole interweb is going to be video.
Yeah, it's going more and more towards video all the time. And the statistics are showing that maybe even higher amounts of video content that we're going to see.
Yeah, I think we're all cranking up the video. Well, think about it too, because you have these apps. You've got Instagram Reels, you've got TikTok, you've got stuff that's going on. Even on Twitter has its own video. By the way, they switched Twitter video platform from Periscope to Twitter. Was it Twitter Live or Twitter Video? But they made me switch the other day.
Oh,
when I was in StreamYard. Yeah, they've changed the name to protect the innocent, I guess.
well, we knew that was coming.
Yeah, well, yeah, it had to be coming. They're also doing their audio platform just like Clubhouse, which, by the way, those of you who are watching live, we're only doing 30 minutes nowadays, even though they call it the Marketing Happy Hour. But I have put the Clubhouse link into the description of this video. So if you click more, you can go down there. Yeah, as opposed to my usual method, which is putting the Clubhouse thing in there at the very last minute, even while we're doing the Marketing Happy Hour. So I'm trying to reform myself.
You're doing well.
Little by little.
We improve.
So this is where we're at right now, which is giving you the 7 best tips on how to handle those pesky video fears that you may have.
Let's dig in.
Dig it. Can you dig it?
I do.
I can dig it. So numero uno. What's this one?
Talk to yourself. I like that one. You know, it's we often say that's one of the best ways to start. You know, practice by just going through, talking about different subject matter yourself, or even broadcasting alone by yourself.
That's the best, actually.
That is a good one.
Just broadcast is, if it's alive, it'll give you some of the same sort of adrenaline rush and dopamine hit.
Yeah, and then the next thing is find a friendly group. You know, you and I have a couple of them where people broadcast regularly. One is my 30-day live video challenge, which is now going to be the 3-day short.
3-day short video challenge.
Short video challenge. But still, if you're looking for a place to do that, look for the 3-day short video challenge and pop in. We're happy to have you broadcasting over there.
When are we starting that one?
We're going to start that in a couple of weeks.
Okay. So we do mid-October. We only need 3 days. We're not asking for 30 days. We don't need 30 days to do.
I know. 3 days now. 3 days.
3 days. Yeah. So talking to yourself. Well, the other thing is, I love the idea of broadcasting live, but not sending it to the rest of the world, because you can make your settings completely private, and then you can see it later.
Yes.
On, say, YouTube or Facebook or someplace else like that. So the other thing about talking to yourself is that you have to, it's a mindset thing, which is improve upon your self-talk. So along the lines of, you know, because we always have this voice in our head that's going all the time, don't we?
Oh my gosh.
You did this. Why did you do this? How could you do this? You idiot, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, why aren't you doing the things you should be doing? Because you know you should be doing those things. Well, it's changing it into something a little more positive, like I am confident. I am getting, or even you can say, you don't have to say I am great at video. You can just say I am getting better at going live on video.
Well, you know, the other thing that always surprised me, I had a number of friends of mine that were just getting started with live video, but it's not like they hadn't spoken before. They were comfortable with speaking to a group of people. But even going through that, I mean, we all go through that. Oh, I'm not worthy. People don't really want to hear what I have to say. Just put that aside and do it anyway, because people do want to hear what you have to say. You've got something unique. And I know so many people who had that thought, and we all have it. And they just did it. And at the end of it, they were surprised by the reaction of the people that they had in their audience.
I know you have several clients who've had that experience.
Don't let it stop you.
Numero dos, number 2, or the letter B. Yeah. We're going to talk about practice, practice, practice. Yeah. I actually don't like practice, practice, practice. So what I do is I change it to play, play, play. Mainly because you want to have fun when you're doing this stuff. And it's almost like starting a brand new video game or card game or something like that. You've never done it before. So if you're playing a game, you will have a willingness, at least most of us have a willingness, to try and discover what the rules are and how to do it and just have fun with it. And if we mess up, it's not a big deal.
Right. No, it's very true. It's important
So
to keep it fun.
yeah,
The other thing that brings fun into it is doing it with somebody else. I remember back during the pandemic, you were kind of just getting started with us, and look where we are now. We do this together. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy it.
yeah, you're in a field in upstate New York, and
And,
I'm on
and
an island. So
I know.
actually, I'm in the same damn place where we started back 18 months ago. That's just kind of crazy. So here's one of the things that is important: to find a place in which you are comfortable, or familiar space or place. And I put this down today, is that it could be your backyard, it could be your office, it could be a favorite location. Maybe it's your front porch, or maybe it's even in your favorite recreational vehicle.
Get out of here. Who would do that?
It could happen.
It could happen.
I
Yeah.
actually think you look great in the captain's chair. I think it's one of the
Well, thank
best.
you.
That's one of the best places for you to do videos.
I know it's actually pretty good because tonight it's a little later here in the Northeast, and the sun's down. I got this nice dark backdrop. You can kind of see my coffee maker a little bit in the background, but it looks kind of cool.
I thought it was a toaster.
You can see the coffee on the end.
Oh,
It's a coffee maker toaster.
It's a coffee maker. You pour the coffee into the toaster and then see what happens.
And I like the retro blue. No, you don't want to pour it into the toaster. That's bad.
Don't pour it. That could be shocking.
Not so good.
Very much so. Hey, are you ready for number 4?
Let's do it.
Y'all ready for this? Number 4, have a plan.
Plans are always good.
Plans are good.
Plans
But what do you not want to do, Mr. Paduchak?
You don't want to wing it. And you
Well,
don't want
that's
to
true too. Actually, I'm the grip it and rip it kind of guy when it comes to.
Well, after a while you can do that, but even I think it's good to have some bullet points. You don't want to use a teleprompter because I have so many friends that I've helped over the years, and I said, do you realize when you use a teleprompter, it looks like you're reading? And most people just don't think anything of that. But even if you watch the president and the news people, it still looks like they're reading. You can see their eyes focused on the teleprompter.
Well, there is an intonation thing that you pick up when somebody's reading.
Yes.
But the key, if you want to develop your acting chops a little bit, you could actually take a couple acting lessons. And what you can do is actually then, in that case, read from a teleprompter and actually express yourself, as opposed to just mouthing the words as they go along. So
exactly.
But scripts will kill you. That's for sure. I mean,
scripts are bad. I know too with webinars. I used to coach a lot of people with webinars, and they would always try reading from a script. Mm-hmm. And there were 2 or 3 or 4 people on, and they had it all scripted out. It was the most horrible thing I'd ever listened to, because it just sounded so artificial, so forced. So don't do that.
Don't you be doing that. Do not read from a script. Do not use a teleprompter.
No.
Cinco. It's not Cinco de Mayo, but it's Cinco in our list of the 7 best tips. I put down dress for success. So we actually went with collared shirts today.
We did. I even did blue.
We're very formal today.
So it's kind of unusual, because usually we just appear as we appear, whatever.
We're mostly in t-shirts. Well, I meant to shave today. I have not shaved. So most of my videos, if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you'll see that I'm scruffy most of the time. I probably shave only once or twice a week. And maybe that's the island lifestyle, man. I think I am,
Could be.
I put the lime in the coconut and drink it all up. So, but if you're normally casual and you will relate to your clients in a casual manner, just show yourself as casual. But I mean, if you're always in the suit and tie thing, you might want to even dress down a little bit to make people feel a little more comfortable. You're not going to try and dominate folks. You're going to try and get them to like you. So in that case, I mean, you don't need that suit and tie. No. But you do need to know, like, and trust.
And you want it to kind of fit in with the way people view you naturally, with the way you are on a daily basis, as opposed to it being artificial and forced too, just like using the teleprompter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do wear collared shirts. I do
too.
But I would say 3/4 of the time I'm in a t-shirt. So.
I would say probably 3/4 of the time too for me.
There you go. It's a Western New York thing. You wouldn't understand. Number 6.
No Bills t-shirts though.
Oh no, I was ready to do that today. As a matter of fact, I was going to wear my Josh Allen jersey since the Buffalo Bills are number one in the AFC East.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you got to rub that in too.
Yeah,
The
I
new
rub
kid's
it in
looking pretty good
gently
though.
and then I pound it down.
New kid's looking pretty good though.
The new kids on the block.
No, the new quarterback
A new
kid.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's one of the things too. So one of our friends, Lindsay Anderson, always says things like, she says, don't talk about football. Well, she doesn't like football. But if your crowd that you're talking to follow, say, college football or the
He likes
NFL
football.
football or local, hey, if you like football, you might as well reveal that you like football. I wouldn't try and hide it and make people think that you're a fan of squash.
Nobody's a fan of squash.
I've played it a few times. That ball is really hard.
Oh, I thought you
I
were
have
talking about the
welts.
other kind of squash.
Welts. The only squash that I like is the kind you get out of the garden. So
Spaghetti squash.
spaghetti squash is good, but that's for the Total Health Live show, which is at 1 p.m. Pacific,
Yes.
4 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. That's the second show that I do. Hey, so it's not about you, it's about them. So why is it important that it's about them, Jacques? I'm calling you my 14-year-old stepson. Hey, young man, you
Hey,
look like a 14-year-old today.
thank you. I feel like one actually. So thank you. That's good.
Oh,
Yeah, because you want to keep it about them. You know, the more you keep questions, talking about them or the things that interest them, the more they're happy to listen to you.
yeah, ask about their problems. What do they want to know? By the way, those of you on Instagram, as well as those of you on the Book of Faces and YouTube and LinkedIn, since some of you came over from LinkedIn today.
Oh, cool.
I gave them the broadcast link to YouTube. That's the way.
Oh,
That's the way we do it until LinkedIn Live approves us. So
those people at LinkedIn
anyway,
Live.
but it's an event, and
I know
so what?
it's an event. I know. Trying to
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah.
how I did. So,
Yes.
but so now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it's about them. Oh,
That's all
by the
right.
way, here's what it is. So if
Yeah.
you have a particular topic or concern or a question for us, drop it in below this video wherever you're consuming your video content. And we will address that, because many of you have other topics. I know you have other questions, like how does this apply to my business, or I happen to have a pet grooming shop, or I happen to work with disabled veterans, or I have a used car dealership. Whatever it is, you can drop this down below here and we will see if we can add that to our topics, or at least a part of our discussion in our future broadcasts.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know the last thing on your slide is no CV necessary. No Christopher Vogelmann.
No.
We don't
CV
need him.
stands for, it's curriculum vitae. It's your resume, but it's typically sort of the academic resume. My CV. Yeah, those are my initials. So
I know.
actually, it's CSV, which also is comma separated variables for those of you in the nerdy world of spreadsheets.
Indeed, it is.
And yeah, so my initials are either CV or CSV. And so that gets me to trouble sometimes.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to
So
people.
you want people to know who you are, but you want to keep it short, brief,
Yeah,
pithy, to the point. You don't want to go on and on for hours about how great you are and how you did this and that, and
or
nobody
the
really
sob
cares at the end of
story.
the day.
Yeah, or the
Or the
sob
sob
story where
story.
I was born a poor black child in Alabama, and I went through 5 bankruptcies, lost all of my limbs, etc. Unless you really have done all those things, which is
Yes,
pretty impressive that you're a digital marketer nowadays.
it
Pretty
is.
impressive.
Yeah.
Number 7, we know this one really well.
It is okay if you mess up.
It's okay if you mess up, because I know that. So I used to do lighting for the theater when I was back as an undergraduate, and the thing that I remember is simply that recovery is everything. So if you mess up, if you're doing your tap dance and you suddenly miss a step, you just keep going, kickball chain or whatever it is, and you just have to pick
Don't
up where you
stop.
left off. Don't stop, or pick yourself up off the floor and start again.
Yep.
So, and I know this so well because when we were doing Instagram lives for my wife's food blog, Mama Maggie's Kitchen, I once had I once had this phone, her phone actually, on a tripod near the pot, taking a picture, an overhead shot, because we only had a single camera, so I'd have to bend it down to look over the pan, and the whole thing fell over and hit the floor. During the broadcast, and I had to pick it up, swirl around. I'm sure people got really dizzy as I was bringing the whole thing up off the floor, but the show must go on, and that thing did not stop.
That's funny.
So I still want to go back and find that one because that just shows you, really illustrates recovery is everything. And if you
Yes, you're in.
mispronounce, yeah, if you mispronounce a word, if you fumble or bumble or stumble or whatever it is, don't fumble if you're with the Buffalo Bills.
No.
Then you need to just pick up where you left off. So let's do the quick recap, and maybe we have some time to either answer some questions. Yeah, we do. We're going to have about 10 minutes left. So we talked about the 7 are here. This is your recap. Talk to yourself. Number 1. Number 2, practice, practice, practice. Or as we say, play, play, play. And if you're religious, maybe pray, pray, pray.
It's not bad. Never hurts.
Yeah. Number 3, get comfortable. Get yourself into a comfortable or familiar space. Maybe display yourself in your wild and native habitat, like John is today.
Right here.
John's in the habitat of the RV. It's the Holiday Rambler RV.
Live from the captain's chair.
Live from the captain's chair. Make it so. Number 1.
Engage.
Number four. Yeah, I got 4 fingers here. Was have a plan. Not a script, not a teleprompter. Have a plan. Number 5, dress for success, but not to impress.
Be yourself.
And number 6, it's not all about you. It's about them.
It is.
And then, of course, we just talked about number 7, which is it's okay if you mess up because recovery is everything.
Exactly. Recovery is everything.
Yeah, I'm starting to recover right now because I'm going to put our faces back on the screen.
Hey, hang on. I got to mute a second.
You have to mute?
Yeah, I got somebody stop by.
I thought you were flushing. So John is muted for now. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. So any of you in the chat have any comments or so, you can come on along. I think we've got you right here. We know that most of you actually will be watching this on the replay. And when you do watch on the replay, whether it's IGTV over here on Instagram, or you're over here on Facebook and YouTube, please use the hashtag replay. Why? Because it alerts us that you're there and you're watching. And it also, quite frankly, it helps the algorithm to kind of boost our videos up a little bit. So that's our little favor. We're asking you a little bit of favor to show us a little bit of flavor. And as I mentioned before, if you have a particular topic, if you have a particular concern or question, you can just drop it in down below here, either on here, IGTV, we'll have the recording there, or right over here in the Book of Faces. And is John going to unmute himself?
Yeah, sorry about that. One of my neighbors stopped by to say hello.
Well, what, you didn't want to bring him on?
No.
No, not.
No.
Hey, so is your potential guest here with you today?
Yeah. Well, he's not ready to be on, but
he doesn't want to be on. Okay, can you ask him questions so we can hear his voice?
Oh, we can ask him questions. What do you want to know?
Yeah. So how important? What's the most important thing when you're you do still photography as a photojournalist, right?
He does more.
Yeah.
Trying to get
So I'm a newspaper photojournalist and photographer in general, but primarily photojournalism.
Okay.
You can see him now, barely.
Yeah.
I can barely see him. He looks a little like your toaster.
He's Mr. X.
Mr. X.
Mr. X. We're gonna black him out like that. Mr. X.
Mr. X. We'll put a big X over the top there.
Say when I think of lighting.
Yeah, lighting. Yeah.
When I watch people, obviously the content is what matters.
Right.
But if you have good content, every once in a while you see a YouTuber who doesn't get the lighting whatsoever, and they do a horrible visual.
Yeah.
Right. And it's distracting to what their message, because you can't see them, or they're shaking, or the lighting is just horrible. But to make it simple for people, lighting is very key. And if you look good, you're going to feel good. You're going to present yourself good. You're going to get good feedback, I think, or better. It's going to help.
Much better.
And I would say that, if you want to look around if you're in an RV, or if you're in a house, or if you're, in the outside, you should probably tend to face towards the main light in the house, not have the window behind you, not be backlit.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to have that saint look of the halo over your head.
Yeah, really not. Yeah. No. And so ideally,
starting to get that now.
In a house, you might have to sit in a room that you normally wouldn't sit in, maybe for the video. maybe you would pick a different, situation than you were thinking, because the lighting is just beautiful.
Well, that made it weird. I just blocked you out. Sorry, buddy.
You totally blacked me out. Sorry about the bad lighting here.
All of a sudden, the sun came up.
Because
what about audio? That audio, I think, because a lot of people will listen to videos in the background while they're doing something else.
Yeah, and actually, an external mic actually helps tremendously. You have a microphone that you plug in is actually much better than the microphone in a device.
Yeah. So now we get to show you how bad lighting works.
Yeah, right.
Sadly,
weird.
Don't do this at home, kids.
No,
exactly.
Yeah. So it's funny. So one of the things that always used to happen to me is I have this sunroom and it's got skylights overhead, and so a lot of times, I would have the sun changes and starts to come in through the different windows, and I get the halo effect and lighted from overhead, and
right.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So you want to be in a place where you can control your lighting. Obviously, I'm not in that place today.
Yeah.
You try to do as best as you can, but sometimes it just doesn't work the way that you like.
Yeah, because today's more about the confidence than it is necessarily the technology. But I know you're big on technology, from software to hardware.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it's not bad. I mean, captions are helpful too, but the auto captions are kind of crazy nowadays on videos. So
they are, but they've improved a lot. So I noticed even over the last, I'd almost say even the last 6 months, captioning, all of the AI technology has really improved dramatically. So a lot of things that we took for granted before are much, much better. So the video captioning, the ability to get transcriptions, those kinds of things are so much easier to do now and much more accurate.
Yeah, I was watching an actual LinkedIn Live from one of our mutual coaching friends, and what was cool about it was, number one, the banner for her LinkedIn changed into the live video feed, which I thought that's awesome, because if you just go to the page, it's right at the top. No scrolling necessary. But the other thing that I noticed, because I was watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn Live, I was switching between them. And I was thinking, God, how does LinkedIn do these automatic captions just as she's going along? And then I looked really carefully, and I recognized that there was at least like a 1.5 to 2 minute delay on the LinkedIn Live feed than there was on the others. And so it was going through that machine learning, trying to figure out how to do it. So that was interesting, though, to see there was such a long delay. But I thought, gosh, you got instantaneous capture of captions. That was amazing. So,
and it's funny. I noticed different companies are better with captioning technology and speech to text. Like Google seems to be far and away better than most. There's another company called Otter AI that does really, really good captioning. I do find that YouTube may not be quite up to speed with some of the other stuff. Apple, if you've ever tried their speech to text, they always try to autocorrect you all the time, which is what everybody complains about.
Well, you can turn off autocorrect.
Yeah. So I mean, some people are. I love it when it changes at the last minute, though. It's awesome.
Hey, so we got the 2 minute warning here, going back to our football analogy.
Oh yeah, cool.
Any final words or wrapping up before we move over to Clubhouse, in which case you're not going to have to worry about your lighting in the RV in upstate New York?
Exactly. So no, I mean, I think the big thing is just get in there, get going. Don't be afraid of technology. Don't be fearless, and have some bullet points to speak from, so that you don't look like you're reading, etc.
Yeah, I'm going to put this up once again, just so that we have it for folks. Oh, you know what I failed to put in there was our contact info. There.
There you go.
You can find John. This is John. In his RV. You can find him at johnpaduchak.com. You can find me. My website is now down, but you can find me all over social media as Dr. Vogelmann. Kayvon, we're not going to talk about today since he ditched us for the farm.
That's right.
And
the nerve.
The Noive.
I'm on the farm and I didn't ditch you. So
see, you didn't. And I'm just amazed that you actually got a signal. I mean,
you and me both, brother. You have no idea.
You were in a campground earlier. I mean,
you have no idea. Yeah, it's funny. The campground I'm staying at has no signal whatsoever. Absolutely no internet.
Well, that's
on the lake. You know, it's kind of surprising.
that's not too much. Well, you know, that's actually not so
No.
surprising, because anytime I try to do live video, as I get closer and closer to the beach, I get cut off. I was doing one on the dunes a couple of weeks ago, and it died like 2 minutes in, and the picture was so faint, but I just kept going and going until there was no more signal. And that's what you need to do, is just keep going and going. We'll be back here next week. Same bad time, same bad channel, 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, or 6 p.m. Eastern. I gave you the Pacific time first, 6 p.m. Eastern. And if it's that time of day, it's time for the Marketing Happy Hour. Oh, you got the sunglasses. You got their shades.
It got too sunny. I couldn't handle it.
Your future's so bright, you got to wear shades. I should put
That's
a mask on in case you're going to send me a computer virus. So anyway,
No.
so we're going to head over to Clubhouse right now. Those of you on Instagram, I will drop the link in there on the gram of Insta. I'm going to send it out to Twitter and a few other places. Join us for a conversation. We're going to do a little bit of back and forth and talk about the mindset necessary to develop greater camera confidence.
Right. We'll see you in the House of Clubs.
We'll see you in the House of Clubs, where we will be